What do you get when you put into a pot 2009's Avatar with Aquaman, Free Willy, parts of Uncharted video game, Final Fantasy 3D animation, and the touch of Star Wars? You get Avatar, The Way of Water. So before we get into our review, guys, if you want to learn how to save money in gas, groceries, restaurants, check the description below. It's not a sponsor. We don't get any kickback from it. It's just our saying thanks for our viewers of watching and listening. Also, you want to be a superhero? Check the description below on how you can save a life or two. Spoilers? Well, as I was saying that, Adan, you had a confused look on your face.
Some of those connections I did not get.
Oh, I did.
I feel like we're going to have some starkly different opinions about this film.
So the time we're reviewing this, Avatar, The Way of Water, has just premiered nationwide. It's over 3 hours long. Doesn't need to be. This, I'll say right now, you can agree with me or not, this is better than the original. I did anyway. I found it's better than the original. Still long, in my opinion. It was longer than the original, maybe like 15 minutes more.
No, it was actually, the original was under 3 hours.
Right. And this is like 3 hours and 12 minutes.
Yeah.
So maybe 20 minutes more longer. Okay, so real quick before we go into our pros, cons, and how was your theater experience?
It was actually like fairly packed. A lot of people were bringing their kids, and there was like a family or a group of friends that were just talking throughout the film. You could tell.
Mm-hmm.
And granted, there was a lot of people that were going in and out because they were taking bathroom breaks.
See, that's what I hate. If you know it's gonna be a long movie, if you're going for an experience, regardless of what the movie is, go to the bathroom before. Don't drink 2 gallons of whatever prior, and especially if you're gonna be sitting in the middle. For me, this is why I hate going to the theaters, is because so many people are not respectful of others. It's like when people are on the phones and stuff like that, it's like, why aren't you on your phone? Like, what is so important that you need to be on your phone? There's no need to be on your phone while you're here, because while you're watching a movie in a dark room, that sticks out like a sore thumb from people behind you.
True.
And then talking and bring like, yeah, I understand you maybe don't want to bring a babysitter, or you don't want to afford, you can afford to have a baby or something like that. So go to another showing. Don't bring the baby at a certain time that you know is like teething or it's cranky, it doesn't do well. Group fittings where you make the experience bad for others. That for people who like that, they're very selfish, and that is why I do not like going to the theaters, even though I do love going to the theaters.
I would say, ironically, it was the kids that were the most quiet.
I'm talking about like kids, like babies, like diapers, something like that, because they don't know.
Yeah.
They're not going to remember anything at that age. It's just people who want to, they're selfish. They can't, like, oh, you know what? Let's wait till it goes on video, or let's do it another day. No, I want to go now, and I'll bring my kids. I'll bring my stroller,
That was Violent Night. Violent Night, there was kids with strollers in there.
Like, but why? It's like they're not going to know. You're paying a ticket maybe for them, what have you, depending on the you're getting a seat or not. Anyway, for me, it was relatively quiet. We had some people, some rowdiness, some here and there, just randomly walking. Just walking, but they cheered when I cheered. It was like a little more like we're responsive in the sense of what was happening on the screen. And again, yes, it was packed. I mean, of course it's packed. This is what, 13 years in the making, or 13 years waiting. I will say that overall, even though I do find this film better than the original, 13 years, it was not worth the wait, in my opinion.
I agree.
If you were saying it's because James Cameron wanted the technology to catch up to his imagination, I would say it didn't need it.
It didn't feel that much more advanced than what the original 2009 was. And I saw it in 3D.
That's another thing I didn't like. Every screen that was showing, or every theater that was showing this movie, was in 3D. There was no 2D option. I don't know if anywhere else there was, but I know in my theater, they had 2D option. I wish I saw that.
Yeah.
This is how like they will make the money in the upscale. Because if you have a theater that doesn't have, or very limited 2D presentation, but you have to get the 3D. That's an upsell. And so what happens, that's going to push the sales on the movie. So that's going to beat Endgame. And I think they did beat Endgame. The original did because they had a re-release in preparation to this. So I think
Probably.
Avatar became number one again. But this will probably beat the original Avatar due to inflation, what have you, and the upsell of 3D. Now, granted, for me and you, we pay the same price monthly. So that doesn't affect us.
Stubs.
AMC Stubs, A list. So if you haven't done it, guys, and you're movie lovers like we are, even though you had the issues with people talking and walking around and bringing babies and talking on their phones and playing video games on their phone, all that stuff, still is 3 movies, regardless of the movie. You can see it for in that price 3 times
I mean,
a week.
technically, depending if you if you're going for 3D or if where you're at, 2 movies makes your money back and then some, because
Well,
it was like
here is actually
$15 just
well for
for
me.
like. Well, I'm sorry, it was like $15 for a 3D ticket for me.
I did IMAX and 3D, so that one ticket equals what I pay a month.
There you go. See, value.
Um,
Sponsor us.
yeah, we need it. Yeah, in my opinion, 3D was not needed. A lot of
No.
times I was going like this. I was going like looking up and down, looking up and down,
And I said
looking
the
up and
same
down,
thing about the
just to
first
see.
Avatar. It wasn't needed there either.
You
I
don't need it.
mean, graphically, it looks good, but so did the first one.
There were some aspects, some scenes that the 3D like it really popped out. But
Yeah.
that's what it reminded me of Final Fantasy anime. Because Final
Uh,
Fantasy anime does 3D and it looked just like that. So that's where I made that reference to.
okay.
It has that standout. And then from in my opinion, the only reason why you should watch 3D is for animation. Live action, not so much, in my opinion. You have aspects of the original narrative, even though it doesn't necessarily it takes off time after the original. For me, I had the aspect of Free Willy. I saw that there, especially when that one, I can't remember the names of the whales, but doing the same thing, jumping over things, crashing,
Well,
befriending a
it was
boy.
the only one that did it, and I wanted
But
to call
still,
it. He had a name, and I wanted to call him Beluga. And I know that's not the right name.
for those who watch it, you know who we're talking about.
Yeah.
So you had that thing where he connects to a boy, like a loner and a loner, they connect. Obviously, Aquaman in there talking to the fishes, especially that one girl, Sigourney Weaver's character, child character,
Yeah. They all
connecting
talk to the fishes.
they do, but she has a bond. Like she's a special one. She is like where Jack Sully was in the first one. She's kind of like that in this one, even though she's a half breed or a clone, I believe. I
Oh,
think
well,
I'm not sure
she
how
is
she.
she was birthed from the avatar of Sigourney Weaver's. So she's
Right.
technically not a clone. They don't know what she is technically because they don't know who the father is. She is the avatar Messiah or Jesus in my definition.
Okay.
Because
Okay. Fair enough.
like
Fair enough.
for all we know, she was birthed from Sigourney Weaver's avatar, Sigourney
Hmm.
Weaver's essence, and was
Hmm.
it the planet
Pandora.
Pandora? We'll say Pandora.
That's the planet.
Yeah,
But oh, I talking about you talking about the god.
yeah.
Okay, got you. And that's where it also comes with the Star Wars. Well, they say the same thing like before. Like everything is connected. Where there's no beginning, there's no end. It's just continuous. So you have that
That's a
Star
Star
Wars,
Wars
the
reference.
Force. Yeah, the
Yeah,
Force.
she was born
Right.
from Metachlorians.
Hello. There we go.
She's Luke
And
Skywalker. No, Anakin. Sorry.
well, hopefully not, because she'll be done. Then she'll turn dark.
Could be. I
Then
mean,
you
the Sky People. She's like, I hate the sky. I hate. She's like, I hate the Sky People, and she'll just go
right,
dark.
right. She's like Sky People's her version of sand.
Exactly.
Then you also have the Tarzan aspect with the Major's kid. I'm
Mhm.
sorry, I looked at him. I thought of the Disney's Tarzan with the dreadlocks hairs and the loincloth and jumping around. Also, I got reference connections to like Uncharted
I didn't get that reference. What was that?
at the end, where the boat is sinking and they're trying to escape and trying to move up the to find a air place to escape the ship. Escape latches, stuff like that. So as the water's going up, they're doing it. So that's the same thing where Nathan Drake from Uncharted is trying to escape, like where the like Uncharted 2, where the train is falling. He's trying to climb out the train before it falls totally off the cliff. So that's where I got
I
that
get that.
aspect.
Mhm.
Okay. So I saw all those in combined throughout the whole film. As I said before, 3D not needed. Animate, we didn't have to wait 13 years. Has it been 13? No, no, 13 years.
2009 to 2022. Yeah, 13.
Yep. So we didn't have to wait that long, in my opinion, for for what we got in a sense of CGI, technology, and story. And you would think I did like the story. I did like the concept pretty much overall. It was very successful. And one thing definitely, it made me hate people. I mean, the audience itself already got me doing that. People talking, people walking around like that. But to see what people did in this movie got me mad, just like how the original got me mad that corporations and combination of military
Mm-hmm.
didn't care what they did. Very again, this is another political story, and I was curious how they're going to present this story on for this one. The last one was very clear cut. It was about the gem, the stone. Here you actually have two. Well, you have multiple stories, but the main two things is for me and in my what I got was revenge
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
from the
clear.
major. That's yes, right. He was just focusing, just getting revenge for killing the host because they're clones. And your boy's in it too, the one that got stomped, the ball headed guy.
Which I was like, I don't know why they brought him back.
I know. I
Like,
don't either.
although kudos to you, bro, because dude, you got more of a role this time than you did last time. Talk about the actor, like
Stephen Lang.
no, 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 no,
The ball headed dude.
who got stomped because in the first one he got like what 3 lines in a holler, and then
Yeah.
and this one he actually got to perform, even though technically it was through the 3D animation. He actually got to
Hmm.
do reasonable lines.
Right. He was like second in command in a way.
I don't know why,
Right.
but he was. Stephen Lang, one of my favorite characters, though.
He was awesome.
You gotta love
Granted,
to hate him.
he's small in this one. Like we said in our last review, he's gotten a little smaller in his age. But again, that's 13 years. So when you get older, it's kind of hard to keep that physique. I mean, I
Yeah,
could have done it with CGI, could have made it a little bigger, but
I mean they
he's
did
still
do it with
his
CGI technically. Like they,
the human version of Stephen Lang when he was
oh
going on the talking to his clone self,
yeah,
his
yeah, yeah.
blue self. Because they did it with in Thor: Love and Thunder. They made Thor a little more muscular. They gave Jane a little more, or Lady Thor, if you will, more mass to her size, CGI wise. So they could have done it here. But anyway, again, the other stories told you have the story of family and the son trying to become his own because he's like the outcast of the family and stuff like that. And then that gives another loose reference. I'm not going to say it is, but a loose reference to A Quiet Place. And I don't think it is, but in the sense that's originally how it was. In A Quiet Place, for those who haven't seen it, pretty much everything is at fault because of the daughter that happens to her brother, that happens to her father, all this stuff, just because she
Ah,
felt, and who else? Army of Darkness. The daughter was responsible for her father being killed and the teen being killed in Army of Darkness because she want to do her thing. She thinks she can do whatever she wants, even though there's dangers and zombies out there. And Quiet Place, there's monsters who can hear, and she's deaf, so she makes a noise, but she can't hear it. But those creatures can.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's the son,
She,
the youngest son.
in a way, but he doesn't really do it. He's just trying to find his place, but unfortunately, like it harms others, and in that he lost a brother.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't really gain a brother because they were still family in a way. I'm sorry, I'm just talking because the more I'm thinking about it now I'm like, even though it's better, it's not that good.
Well,
Um,
I can tell you why. Because even though you have all these other things on the undertone, this is what I got it from it. It's the same
okay.
movie.
Oh, no doubt.
It's like watching New Hope and then coming back and watching Force
Phantom Menace?
Awakens.
That too, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, in my
because
opinion,
it's a new movie. They put some twists and
mhm,
new
mhm,
twine on it, but
mhm.
then at its core, it's the
Mhm.
same plot. It's the same thing. It's the same. There's a new mysterious substance that the sky people want. How they discover it, how they come across it, I have no idea. Never mentioned.
Well, before you go continue, I think it's because they were there a year before. Remember, like when they crashed back into the forest, they were there for a year. So probably in that year's time, they could have found out that. Granted, I mean, I still don't know, but I'm just taking as a gander because Eddie Falco, she's the new head in charge, the new military
The
person.
general, yeah.
Yeah. So she said we done so much in a year's time what you guys done.
in like 30 or 20
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. So it was like that. So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So they have their new version on unobtainium. It's the brain juice from the whales.
Right.
Uh,
That stops the aging process all together.
exactly. Of course, now they have to go into a new community, a new tribe to
Mm-hmm.
relearn the ways and redo all this and be accepted by them. And they are the outcasts
Right.
because they don't look like them. Now, whether or not they
Mm-hmm.
have 3 fingers or 4 fingers, they still don't look like them. And they don't know. They're
Mm-hmm.
like babies, and they even say it like they are babies. Treat them like such and teach them our ways. This is
Mm-hmm.
the same lines in the first movie. And then one of them starts
Okay.
bonding
How
and
here?
befriending like the nature and getting the stuff. And then when times get
Right.
tough, they call upon the biggest, baddest fish in the sea, like the biggest, baddest bird, and they make their attacks. And
Right.
now
But
there are improvements. I'm
now
not
here you go.
saying there aren't, but it's
No, no,
just the
no.
same thing.
Right. Okay. So talk about birds. What happened to the red one?
He let it go
When?
in the first movie, at the end of the first movie.
He did?
Yeah. He's like, I don't need you anymore. Run free. I was like,
See, that
bro,
made no see that made no sense. Since he was the leader of the tribe
he just
or
needed
leader
a
of that
name.
leader of the forest, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it made total sense to keep it to for that. Okay, all right, fine. But yes, you're right. They're now in the water range, whatever you want to call it, development. And now, yes, they have to relearn. But instead of one person, like Jake Sully did in the first film, now it's the family.
It was like 6.
Right.
Yeah.
And exactly right. Relearning, learning how to think. And then again, it's like, again, force training.
Yeah.
Sigourney Weaver's character playing I mean, I thought she did a great job playing a youngin. It was awesome.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I like Sigourney Weaver as an actress mostly. It's like most of
Yeah.
her, even to this day, most of her roles she does a really good job. So I think she
Uh,
did capture that
now,
teen.
I don't know who did the kids in the sense of like the brothers and like that. They sound so familiar. And I'm trying to like think of who to, I'll look at it later
Mm-hmm.
who played the sons, but the voices sound again really familiar. But yeah, you're right. How it's just parallels, and then again, you have a corporation don't care what they do to the inhabitants. They don't care what they do to the natives. They're just going to destroy it just because of their greed, and they think right. And again, I'm looking at them. I'm watching. It's like these are freaking terrorists. These are terrorists in this planet, just like we had terrorists in this country. How this country became developed was by through terrorists.
Yeah, essentially.
Believe it or not, like it or not, this country was formed through terrorism. That's what it was, and colonized.
I mean, like,
So
yeah, well,
I'm starting to get pissed. I mean,
they're invading forces that came in and like just conquered. They're a conquering force.
well, hello.
And that's what.
Okay, here you go.
Yeah.
Exactly. Just how it was. The North America became the United States. How
Mm-hmm.
the conquistadors did it when they traveled. How Vikings did it when they went to different lands. So it was just freaking it pissed me off in that sense because just how my mindset, how I look at things, how I my personal views. He got so enraged. Kimberly too. She was getting pissed off, and I understand worst scene for her. She didn't like it when the whale was killed, the mother
Oh yeah, yeah.
whale, and then they
Which
killed the baby for
I
just
want to
for no
say
reason.
that was a tactic for whale. Was that a tactic in actual whaling? Some using similar things like because whales are known, depending on the breed of whale, they'll travel in packs. I want to feel like I
Well,
saw
yeah,
that in a documentary, if not in
but
the movie Orca. Remember that movie
but
Orca?
no, no. Oh yeah, yeah, yes, the killer
That
whale.
that
Yes,
was a perfect example. That there you go. That's a reference.
there you go.
Avatar two
There's another
ties
reference.
to
There's
Orca.
another reference right there. Orca. There we go. We can put that in there. We can include that. But I think there's laws now protecting whales. That it's illegal to do whale hunting because it was big at one time.
Yeah,
What Kim didn't like is that saying that we're animal lovers. So to see that it just even though it is not real, there was some realistic aspects to it.
yeah.
And what they were doing to trap the mother or trap the whale, the targeted whale, it was just very ugly and touch of realism. So she said it wasn't needed. Kim said it wasn't needed to show that. I said it was needed to show the ugly of man.
Like even if they used everything in the whale, that would be more understandable. But they like
Yeah.
that to draw that point home, like they get avowed that looks like the canister from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Exactly right.
It,
Another reference. Here
it
goes another reference.
looks like the ooze. And the little kid, Spider, he goes,
Spider. There
"What
you
are you
go.
gonna do with the rest?" He's like, "Just dump it."
No, just like how man is, the greed of man. They don't care. They just want what they want. It's like that. Yes, if they used it like the Native Americans used, when they kill buffalo,
Yeah,
they use
still be sad, but make
everything
more sense.
right, but they use everything of it for food, for clothing, for shelter, or to help with shelter, all that stuff. They use everything, the bones, like that. So that got me mad, and that was the point, in my opinion, of to show that
Yeah.
to in detail, to make you angry, to look at. But other people, when us, won't see that comparison. People are like, "Oh, what a shame." It doesn't affect them, but and they said it too. They had that one doctor, scientist, that will make sure that the crew doesn't go too gun crazy and randomly kill. Just get one. Just make sure we're going to do this. Okay, but we'll just
Hmm.
leave it to one because it affects everything else on that planet.
And here's the really messed up thing: is their tactics for capturing just the one really kills two, because they will go for the ones with the newborn, and the newborn will still die.
And this is where we clapped, the audience as a whole, the Australian gunrunner, whatever. When he's got his arm caught and then got ripped apart and he flew in the air, we all clapped.
No one clapped in my theater, but I was like, "Ooh, that was
Oh,
good."
I was clapping here and
It
there
was
because I
one
was
of
like,
those moments where I was like, "Oh, that was good."
listen, I clapped when every single one of them died. All
I
those humans,
I did laugh a little
all those
when whales
corporations.
start crushing
I,
people.
oh man, it was beautiful. And he was like, damn, this whale is fast for a big, heavy beast. It is fast.
Yeah.
Ducking his head for the thing to bounce off, the arrow or the spear to bounce off.
Well, the guy said
And
like
then
they're technically smarter, or they have the
what?
capacity to be smarter than we are. So that could also translate to, response time and whatever. You like your
Maybe.
the synapse. Well,
I don't
he's
know.
like their synapses were better than ours.
Sure. I mean, the eyes are on the side. The eyes are on the side. It's not forward, and the gunner was right in front. I'm just saying, for being that big of a beast, that is fast. And hey, it's a different planet. It's like that. Oh, speaking about that, so I understand that the air is poisonous to humans,
Yeah,
but how come not? How come not the water?
like the water's not
What
poisonous.
to them? Yeah, like acid in a way, because water comprised of what? Comprised of what?
It
H
is
two
H2O.
O. Okay, that water. So if you're using Earth science and stuff like that to help explain this, then that water for them should have been poisonous as well in one way or another, in the sense of like
Well, I mean,
acid or something like that.
they never
Think
clarified
about it.
they never clarified what it is in the air. So it could be that there's not enough oxygen in the air, and there's other chemicals in the air that could be affecting it. So theoretically, you could still have regular H2O, and then when it evaporates, it mixes with the air. It doesn't have to be like a toxic substance as the water, or it could be a substance that's not quite H2O that is still not toxic to us. And,
I don't know. That
to be on our
uh,
skin. You could put your
um,
hand in, I mean, like maple syrup. You're not gonna die from putting your hand in maple syrup, but
oh my God.
you can't have a fish live in it. Listen, I'm
Is
not
that
Neil
this?
deGrasse.
I mean, you're kind of close. You're closer than him than I am.
Fair, that's true.
I don't know. I just found it funny because that was the big thing in the first film, right?
Yeah,
And that was more about air, and the forest here was about water. So even though it's so close to the original in the sense of what the corporation and military is really there for, was to deprive that planet Pandora of its sources, and they don't care what they do to the inhabitants. I would just like to see that the water did have some kind of properties that that the humans will try to avoid.
yeah.
In a sense, have a suit or something like that. Just like just as my opinion. Same problem we had in the first one. The guns. Where were the guns so big for avatars to have? See, I don't remember in the first one where the avatars had military weaponry to fit their size. I don't remember that.
I think I remember the mech suits carrying the guns, and I
Okay.
mean the avatars are the same size as the mech suits, so yeah, that kind of makes sense.
All right.
And here they
All
have like the
right.
new version of the mech suits were more skeletalized
Yeah, the
and
one. You remember? You see her when she was
training.
talking about Eddie Falco. Her mech suit is holding a cup of water or coffee,
Yeah.
and then her bare hand doesn't. So she's doing this. It's like, why don't you just carry the cup and go like this? We don't have to go. You don't have to go like this to drink the coffee. You know
Maybe
what I'm saying? Because
she is a demonstration of power. I don't know. Like she's talking to another avatar dude, and she's like, "I'm not gonna be shorter than you."
what? No, I'm not saying that she had to be out of the mecha suit, but I'm just saying just have coffee in your regular hand because to reach your face, your arm has to go past you. Your regular arm has to go past you for that mecha arm can get to your. I don't know. I just thought it was unnecessary.
I guess action
Go ahead.
wise,
Mm-hmm,
it was
mm-hmm.
better because there was,
Yes,
granted, there was gaps, and that's what caused it to be over 3 hours. But there was,
just like the first one.
yeah, yeah,
Well, I'm sorry. In this one, there was action right away.
yes,
When
that's what I'm
the
getting at.
yeah, action right away. But in the beginning, but then it stopped again. By the sky people comes in, invades, and then when the major and his group come in,
Before that, like you have the raid on the train.
right, right. But
Hmm.
that's relatively in the beginning,
Yeah,
and then it stops again because of the
training montage.
well, you have the one with the whale
Yeah,
stopping or saving the boy,
yep, the shark attack.
shark attack. It's like that. That was something else that I remember. It wasn't
Oh,
another
you
movie.
gonna use quote flipper now?
Oh, maybe, but
Because it attacked the shark
not
from the side.
right. No, but there's one where there's well, there's all these ones where like in Prey, right? When the girl is being chased by the bear, and she's going inside the
Yeah, yeah.
trees, the fallen trees, and stuff like that. And that happens same here. It's trying to find it, and then it moves around. Oh, like Jurassic Park. There you go, Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I can see that Jurassic
Yeah,
Park vibe.
yeah. For me, it was the ending. The ending was cool. I like that I saw some jujitsu being displayed there
That
at
was
the
one
end.
thing I was gonna say. Like now that they're in the Avatar bodies, like can they use? Are we gonna see like actual military tactics or training utilized? Because like he's a full soldier. These are full soldiers trained
Hmm.
against uh, arguably natives, except for Sully. Sully is a soldier
Hmm.
too. By the way, Sully seemed to got better at fighting.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
my man can use like a hatchet pretty well.
Right. Yeah, very Native American. I had to say, like the first film, Zoe Saldana, she stole it there, in my opinion, and she stole it here again.
She's a very strong performance. Absolutely.
Oh my God. And her
The
the
emotional
fighting in
scenes.
you feel it. You definitely feel it. Just like the first one as well. Stephen Lang, when he was on, he stole the scenes for me as well. Now her fighting style, I thought it was beautiful, using the arrows and the bow and the arrows, and then like taking one out and then shooting again, and then
Yeah.
they did it. They did her justice. She was awesome in it.
She was between the two, she's clearly the better fighter between her and
Of
Jalissa.
course,
I
and better
thought
actor.
yes. I would dare say like that last fight for her, and understandably so, she was clearly more animalistic though. Precise with how she would attack, but she
Hmm.
was
Hmm.
going feral until like the
Hmm.
very last moment where she kind of snapped back out of it a little bit. I thought she was going to kill Spider.
Me too.
They made it clear that she never really accepted Spider. And she treats him like a stray cat more
Hmm.
so than like Jake Sully, who would see him more of a son. And even at that, like he's really like the outcast son. Like he's like, you're one of ours when you're here. When you're not here, we don't really think of you.
Hmm.
So and
Well,
I'm like Spider's part of the family. I'm like, listen, Sigourney Weaver's character is the only one that, and the youngest is the only one that really thinks that.
one that the standoff at the end, like Kimberly didn't understand why did she cut him? Why was she threatening Spider? I said it was because the major had their daughter. So what do you expect them to do? And the thing is, she cut Spider, but it wasn't deep enough. It was like it was a
It was
one straight
yeah,
through,
it was
but
to make
it
him
was like
bleed, but not to like
what, right.
damage. It was
No,
symbolic to the same cut that Jake Sully got when he was killed as a tribe leader.
when one life ends, one begins.
Exactly.
It did in the beginning. It did it exactly in the beginning when when he said that we have to leave. In order to leave, he had to die. The new tribesmen faked that he killed him as a symbol, though.
Yeah,
and then he took over as a lead. And then you're right, she did the same thing. Like Spider became the new son.
which they says a son for a son, but
Right.
the Colonel would interpret that as like you're gonna kill my boy when she said
Well,
that.
yeah. Well, especially when she went to go for the death strike,
Yeah,
and at the end, seeing the Major live, kind of predictable.
yeah,
Understandable. It was kind of like that Batman thing where I don't have to kill you, but I don't have to save you either. Where this one, it was in the reverse. I can save you, but you're not my father.
he's like I
You're not.
saved
You're
you,
not
but
my.
like I'm not one of you kind of situation.
Right. So I mean, it's good because it leaves in a way that, of course, there are going to be sequels to this. I hope it's not another 13 years. It's going to be stupid. We'll be like doing this review and another thing, Sonny. So no
By
teeth.
2050, they'll be down to the
Right.
fourth one.
Just knock them out every year. All right. So now, before we give our review, is there anything else that we forget?
Here was the one thing that kind of got me. So Stephen Lang's character was killed in the first one. They backed up his mind. Everybody's treating
DNA.
him the
Yeah.
same, but like here's the weird thing. I mean, and this is where my mind started going. Technically, but I guess unless there's certain laws that they have unwritten, like they never establish, it's not like they were getting any animosity from the other people that were working there. But I mean, technically, they're not. They will be registered dead in the government's laws or whatever, and they're not
Mm-hmm.
human. So, like, I would think they would be treated less, like from the other workers or whatnot. You see what I'm getting at?
Um,
Like they're
right,
like
because they're not
they're
human.
they're
They're
not
not they're
quite
not necessarily,
clones.
well, they are clones.
Well, no, they're a clone is like identical of what you are.
Well, you know
These
what I
are
mean.
the
They're
avatars, and their minds are clones.
right, but they're also not avatars. You understand?
Exactly.
They're
They're just
like
downloaded right in there.
they're their own thing. It's like their own species in a way. Like how Jake Sully is his own thing
Exactly.
and
But that's
may
what I'm
and has
getting
a,
at. Is like there's no. I mean, maybe if they do this for a sequel where they're getting recognized as like they're getting prejudiced against because they're their own thing.
well, they were prejudiced before. Well, we saw that with Jake Sully and his family at the water
I'm talking about from the
world.
sky people to them.
I
Yeah,
understand, but
yeah,
that's a different thing because to me, I find that different because they're all on the same page.
yeah,
They're all on the same purpose. They're you being used to help extract the goose or to fulfill the corporate's agenda, as well as destroy the leader of the forest tribe.
yeah,
So it's like that's happening there. So they're all on the same page. And to the major and his team's mind, they're all have a mission to accomplish. They're all on the same thing. It's not like, they're separate. It's just that even though he's blue and has a tail, that's still the major.
yeah. He's like, I'm still a
And he
marine.
and he's still, yeah. And they made that known too. Like the one time he's telling the gun runner, the whale hunter guy, he says, I'm only nice once. He just smiled. And he was like, then he's like, okay, all right. Then he just told him that. I was like, ooh. On Rotten Tomatoes already. I mean, we just saw this. I saw this last night. You saw it Thursday,
Thursday.
2 days prior.
Hmm.
And again, the time we're recording this is Saturday, December 17th. On Rotten Tomatoes, that's just one source that we're going to use. The critics give it 78%. The audience gives it 94%. Where do you fall?
Not as high as a 94, but definitely not deserving a 78.
In the original, it was tied, remember?
Yeah, yeah.
82.
82.
82%.
Oh, yeah, then yeah, about this I'm going to give it about the same score I gave the last one, about 88,
Right.
89.
For me, I would give like an 80, maybe 85. This movie, just like the first one, is beautiful. They did a great job of the visuals. The
So you're
CGI,
going
the
lower on
computer.
this one than you did on Avatar.
What did I do last time?
You agreed more with the people, which was like higher than 82.
Yeah, 85.
Yeah, you just
I
said
said, I said,
80.
I said 80, maybe 85.
All right, all right.
I'll give it 85 again. Here we go. I'll just clean it. 85%. 85%. Because I do find this better than the first one, but not by much. Too much CGI in a sense of, well, of course, the CGI is going to be CGI. But what I'm saying
Yeah.
is like overdone. There were some parts that was just way too much. Like you can see the separation. It reminded me of Willow at times
With the brownies.
with the
Okay.
brownies. Yes, you know how like he could tell his CGI is like a green screen behind them. You could tell, kind of like how people watching this, we're using a green screen now.
Yep.
So there was times where it stood out, and again, that's where I feel the Final Fantasy not so much original in the sense of going and finding another dwelling and then adapting to that and understanding. That was more for our benefit, of course. I mean, I would have been happy if they just was stayed in the forest and held their ground and find another way to beat them. I mean, 85 for a sequel, I think that's okay. For people who think it's 94%, I don't know why, because all it is just visual. If you're not watching the story, you're not seeing what's going on. It's really, again, if you saw Free Willy, if you saw Uncharted, if you saw the original Avatar, Tarzan, Aquaman,
Hmm.
Star Wars, any of the Final Fantasy, this is it. The original Avatar, I compared it to Fern Gully, Dance with the Wolves, and I believe Star Wars as well. I think
And now
I
you got
used
like
that
about
reference.
a dozen other films we just added.
So 85 it will be mine. Is it worth a watch? Yes, if you have the time. If you have more than 3 hours to kill, because
Trailers.
don't forget you have the previews, the trailers. That's a half hour. And I was surprised that Kim stayed away because Kim says, I need a nap. But she stayed up. She stayed up. And again, if you are going to see it, go to see IMAX. Do you need to see it on 3D? No, you don't. It is entertaining. That's not a doubt. It's not so much original. You're going to see influence of other films you have seen before. The action, when it's on, is on. Is I will say that's good.
It's good. I was just thinking about one of the parts of the last action scene. The water tribe just disappeared.
Yeah, they didn't really do that much. You're right.
Like they battled, and then when the ship started crashing, and then I'm like, they were just gone. I'm like, why did they disappear? I mean, like they were pretty much winning.
You are right about that. It was mainly about them, the Sully family.
Yeah, like it's somehow just switched to being the Silly family, but like, where's the rest of the tribe? Like, at least the tribe leader wasn't even there. You would think he'd be there.
No, he was there, and
No,
then
he wasn't. Like he was
he
there for
was.
the no when the ship crashed
Oh,
and
oh, you're
then
talking about,
started
oh, you're talking about
flipping.
when they're right,
Yeah,
right. Well, I guess they won and stuff like that. And I do like, I believe that Jake Sully says, let's dance. And I think that's what he said last
no,
time. I
I
think he
think he
said it
said let's
again.
do this.
Well, I'm not going to watch the movie again to find out.
No, it's too far. But here, okay, so
Well, here you go. So,
I'm giving the same rating as I did last time for the first Avatar. I think I gave it like a 88 or 86 or something like that. Of like
okay.
say, I mean, it's the same film for me as far as rating
Hmm.
goes. Is it worth the watch? My thing, yeah, I'm gonna say it's worth the watch. Here's my thing: is it worth the watch in theaters though? What do you think?
Yes,
But not for
I do.
3D. But
I
not for 3D.
not 3D. No, not 3D. You want to see it on IMAX. You want to get enveloped into that world. 3D is definitely not needed. Is one and done for me. I'm not going to see it again.
Yeah. So I would agree with you on both accounts. I would say like if you wanted to have like the maximum experience, then yes, go watch it in a theater. I don't think it's maximum experience for 3D. I watched it in
Hmm.
3D. It did not enhance it that much better. Actually, there was moments I would have preferred it into and just watching it in 2D. IMAX, I would have been
Hmm.
happy because it would have been
Hmm.
immersive.
Yeah, I may see this again in preparation as a reminder of what happened. I may not, because it's 3 hours freaking long. I don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah.
And so for the audience who liked that 94%, I was like, what did you see? What made your experience give it that high of a rating? Because if it's just for visuals, okay, 94% for the visuals, but for the story, it's like more like 70.
I got the same sensation as when I did with the first one. It's a one and done. I don't need to rewatch the film unless I like. No, I'm sorry, mom and dad, because I know you watch. Unless I'm like our parents who watch something and I miss things, because there are people that will watch this movie and probably miss stuff and be like, I don't understand, I don't get this. If
Mhm.
you're that kind of person, wait for Disney Plus because of the fact that
Right.
it's you're gonna not want to go back to the theater to spend
Mhm.
almost 4 hours of your life because it's 3 hours and 15 12 minutes and plus 30 minutes of trailers. That's almost four
Right.
hours just to rewatch a scene.
Our parents sometimes type that, oh, I seen it, never saw it.
Yeah.
And then they have seen it and go like, oh, I don't remember seeing it.
Yes.
And
We
so
love him for it.
it's the Christmas holidays. If dad wants to see it, I'm saying, sorry, dad, you're on your own. Or if mom wants to see it, like, sorry, mom, you're on your own. It's like, nah, it's like,
No, mom's the
we're
classic
good.
of what's going to happen. It's like,
Right. Like,
or what's happening.
what did we take her to see last time for Thanksgiving? We took her to see what?
Black Panther.
Oh, Black Panther. See, now
Black
that
Panther
movie
2.
I can see again. And
Yeah.
that movie I can see again and again and again. Right. But we're going to take dad if it's still playing Top Gun Maverick. I don't think he saw it, right? So I want to,
No, he hasn't.
see, unless it's on the streaming platform. No, we're going to take him to see a theater because he had to see that in the theater. We'll treat him.
Oh, all right.
When you guys come down for the holidays. In comparison to his earlier work, James Cameron, this is not his Terminator 2.
No.
Terminator and Terminator 2 is a long distance apart as well. Terminator 2 was his Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
This is not that case. Not in my opinion. It's not there. All right, guys, that is it for us. That is our movie review of Avatar: The Way of Water. Please let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. If you have a movie that you would like us to review, email us at talesoftvbros@gmail.com. Until next time, will be the next time. I'm Angel.
I'm Adan.
Love you, bro.
Love you, bro.